Have this feeling.
Hey guys, welcome to today's 12-minute glutes and hamstrings Tabata. We're gonna start with the dumbbells, so grab a medium to heavy set. Our first exercise is a deadlift. So feet under the hips, roll those shoulders back and down, chest is proud, abs are braced. We're gonna take those dumbbells, slide them down the legs to about mid-shin, come all the way up to standing, squeeze those glutes. So we want those weights really close, abs tight and chest up. As you're coming down, we're pushing that booty back so we feel that big stretch in the hamstrings, squeezing on the way up. All right, we're gonna move on, resting for 10, then we're gonna go to a single leg deadlift. So we're gonna lift the right leg, continue with that hip hinge, and here we go. So dumbbells slide down that left leg, stand all the way up, squeeze that booty. So we're pushing through that heel that's on the ground, and we wanna keep those hips and shoulders square to the floor here as we're moving nice and controlled. Might not be able to get very many on this one, and that's okay. We wanna move with control. And we're gonna switch to the other side. So same thing, shift your weight to the other leg. Make sure you keep that posture really lifted and a little squeeze between those shoulder blades. We switch. So we're really sending that work into the back of the body here, strengthening our glutes, hamstrings, as well as our core. And we're only working for 20 seconds, so you may not be able to get very many reps in, and that's totally fine. Like I said, it's about quality over quantity. And we're gonna do 2 sets, so this is kind of your warm-up set. All right, moving to the floor, weights down, going to a tabletop bridge. So hands under shoulders, fan those fingertips out. We're gonna lift the hips, extend the front leg up, and then drop the hips back down. Back leg lift, squeeze that booty. So we're gonna move kind of slow this first set, get everything down, and then the second set, we're gonna pick up the pace. So I want you to drive those hips up to about tabletop height, so you've got a nice flat core, and relax. We're gonna add to that move a pulse. So we're gonna lift one leg and pulse for that 20-second interval. Starting with that front leg, keep those shoulders over the wrists, drive those hips up and pulse. So that leg is about as high as your hips. Squeeze that booty, drop in just a couple inches, and I'm pushing through my heel that's on the ground here to try to activate, engage my glute. Quite a bit harder with this one. Rest. We're gonna do the same thing on the other leg. Make sure you're really pushing through those palms, keeping that chest proud. Here we go. That back leg's gonna lift, and we're gonna pulse. Couple inches up and down. Try to get those hips level like a table, right? Squeezing those glutes, squeezing those quads. We feel it everywhere here. And relax. Moving on to our hands and knees, we go to a single leg pointer. So we're gonna extend the front leg to 45 degrees, front arm to 45 degrees, and we're gonna pulse the leg, just the leg. So the arm just adds a little bit of a balance challenge. If you need to, you can put that hand down, leg on the 45, and that's gonna get into the side glute. I want you to point that toe only a couple inches. You can see I'm not raising my leg past hip level. That's gonna keep that work in your glute. Hand and leg down, we're gonna do the same thing the other side. Brace that core, pull your belly button in toward your spine. We wanna maintain that core brace. Here we go, other side. So again, just the leg is pulsing. Arm, thumb up about shoulder height, leg about hip height. And you can see I'm keeping everything really balanced. So hips and shoulders are square to the floor. I'm giving you a lot of cues in this first set so you can get a feel for what your form should be. So that way in the second set, we can really turn it up. Relax, we're moving on to a side plank hip dip. So come onto your forearm, either side. You can bend the bottom leg and lift like this, or extend both legs and lift the hips. So up, and then tap that booty on the floor, right back up. So the important thing here is that your elbow is under your shoulder, wrist in front, like 90 degrees, and then you're pushing through that bottom hip, keeping that shoulder away from your ear, and pulling that belly button in toward your spine. Perfect, we switch. Other arm, and again, you can keep that bottom leg bent to make it a little easier here, or you can go both legs. It's only 20 seconds. So we wanna maximize our time here. And you're barely touching that hip to the ground. You're not coming all the way down and relaxing. You're keeping that tension on. If you've done any of my ab workouts, you know we do these a lot. It's a great exercise for strengthening full body, but especially to target those glutes and your obliques. Relax. We're moving on to our bellies for a prone flutter kick. So relax your head on your hands. You're gonna squeeze your butt, legs straight, little kicks. Legs don't have to be perfectly together, but point those toes. I want you to try to lift your quads off the floor. It's gonna be a challenge, you got this. And rest. That's the hardest one, I think. Maybe not with this one. Knees wide, heels together, feet flexed, head on hands. We're gonna do a ham glute lift. So you're gonna lift those knees off the ground, pushing the heels high. So the challenge here is to isolate that lower body. So you're trying to lift those knees off the floor high as you can. And not just the knees, you're trying to get your quads off the floor. Can you do it? Squeeze that booty, push high through those heels. You're almost there. Rest. All right, we're moving to our first exercise. So quickly on your feet, grab your weights, back to that deadlift, feet under hips. Good posture, belly braced. Here we go. If you can this round, maybe you wanna go heavier on the weights, or maybe you're gonna take it lower or go a little bit faster. We're still moving with control here, but now that you know the moves, we can start to advance, get that heart rate up a little higher this round. We're only doing 2 sets, but you could definitely repeat and do more sets if you'd like. We're gonna switch to that single leg deadlift now. Again, making sure those hips and shoulders face the floor. We're moving with control. Extending that right leg back, left leg on the floor, melting the weights into that leg. Keeping that weight evenly through all 4 corners of the foot. It's gonna help you stay balanced. And then when you come up, squeeze that booty. And rest. Moving to the other side. You'll probably find that one side's a little better on that deadlift, that single leg deadlift. Totally normal. We're working on muscle symmetry here. Switching, other side. Here we go. Again, making sure to keep that chest proud, abs tight. You might shake a little. Totally fine. Do what you can do. And rest. We're moving on to that tabletop with the leg lift. So, hands on your shoulders, fingertips fan out. We're gonna squeeze that booty, lift the front leg nice and high. This time, if you want to, keep that booty off the floor. Bring it back under the shoulders, but don't touch it. Keeping a little bit more of that tension in the glutes. This one's really difficult for me, right? Sometimes it's just getting out of your comfort zone, doing things you don't normally do. All right, we're resting. We're gonna do that bridge pulse with the front leg lifted. So pull those shoulders back, chest open, abs tight. Here we go. We pulse. That's the great thing about the Tabata, right? You can do intense things because it's a short amount of time. Some of my workouts, if you really want to challenge, we do 50 seconds of work. I don't know if I could do this for 50 seconds if I'm being honest. Rest. And this is great for that back body. You're working the whole posterior chain. We switch to the other leg. Lift up, pulse. Notice how everything feels. Is it easier on one side? Which side's struggling? That's your weaker side. Everybody has one, but this is how we even everything out. Almost there. Rest. We're moving on to that single leg pointer. So over on your hands and knees, we're gonna extend the front leg on the 45, opposite arm on the 45. Arm stays still, leg lifts, tiny pulse up and down. Feel how when you take that leg to the corner, it gets deeper into this side of your booty. So that's that hard to target area that everybody's like, how do I smooth out my hips, lift my glutes? This one really isolates everything. Relax. We're gonna move everything to the other side. Make sure you're keeping those abs tight here. Chest proud, shoulders away from ears. Back leg, front arm, pulse the leg. Now make sure in that opposite hand that's on the floor, you're keeping that shoulder over your wrist so you're not shifting your weight back. That's allowing your core to absorb that load. Rest. We're moving on to that side plank hip dip. So take your option. Are you gonna bend the bottom knee or are you gonna straighten the legs? Let's lift those hips nice and high, pushing through the forearm. And I want you to barely tap this round. Maybe you don't even tap the floor. Maybe you keep it slightly off the floor. Whatever you're doing, do it well. Time, move to the other side. Pulling that belly button in at the top, squeezing your abs. Rest, we're moving on to our belly for the prone flutter kicks. Resting your head on your hands. Lift those quads off the floor. Give me those little kicks. It doesn't have to be a big movement, but I want you to focus on keeping your legs off the floor if you can. Almost there. And relax. We're moving to our last exercise, the glute ham lift. So flex those feet, knees wide, heels stay together. We're gonna focus on lifting those legs off the floor. Here we go. Drive them up. This one might take a couple rounds to get it, but once you do, you really feel that isolation in the back of the body. And we're done. Great work, you guys. Push back, quick child's pose to release. If you need a stretch after this workout, check out my cool down videos, my postpartum deep stretch. If you're postpartum or not, it's a great way to release tight muscles after a workout. Be sure to check out the other workouts in my Tabata series. I've got one for every muscle group. Let me know what you think in the comments and what other workouts you'd like to see.